Good day. My name is David Knox, and I have multiple system atrophy, as the words don't come out very easily. And I wanted to create a short videos about MSA and my own personal thoughts, um, more of day-to-day life. And one of those topics is drunkenness. MSA affects when it starts to affect the cerebellum in the back of your brain. You start to have drunken-like symptoms. The world is spinning. My speech is slurred. Neurogenic orthostatic hypertension comes along with it. And the only difference between actually being drunk and MSA is being drunk is short-lived. It's a short amount of time, and you recoup. Well, with MSA, we don't. So, unfortunately, there are those out there who will use that against you, and will say, well, just because you have MSA, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to contribute. You're lazy. And that's a harsh thing to hear from people, because you can't really try to do many things. It's very different when the body and the mind, the head, the eyes are moving versus when other things are moving around you. So for instance, I can still drive, not all the time, but I can. But my body is not moving while I'm driving. I'm stationary. You want to go back to Isaac Newton's laws and Einstein's. My body is in motion with the truck, therefore I'm not moving myself. So while things happen outside while driving, outside of the vehicle, I'm still not moving. Therefore, the sensation is not the same as if I'm moving myself, like walking or trying to mow the grass or trying to pick up or clean or things like that. So it's very uncanny of people to think that just because you have MSA, you can still do simple things. And there are simple things we can do. Like, for instance, I'm sitting here recording this video, and yet my eyes and the top of my head is absolutely spinning right now because I'm staring at a screen in front of me, and the world is spinning. But I'm not even moving yet, and yet I still feel drunk, and I still talk drunk. So, not only is it hard to accomplish the task of reaching for things, grasping for things, holding on to things, carrying things without spilling or dropping them, putting one foot in front of the other because you're walking drunk, right? That's MSA for you. You're leaning everywhere. You're tossing yourself everywhere. It's dangerous to do things. It's not that I don't want to do anything. It's not that I don't want to try. But when you try to do things, the effects of drunkenness is amplified. I'm sure many of us, for various reasons, have been drunk in our lives. And you know that when you get up very quickly, or you move, or you turn around, or you try to drive or do certain things, it gets very, very, very worse, much worse. And that's the problem. Sitting down, I'm stationary. Laying down, I'm stationary, and the world is not spinning as much. It is spinning, but not as much. The moment you get up from bed, or you get up from the chair, or anything, the world literally spins, and then you feel like you're going to pass out, like you do when you are actually physically drunk from alcohol. So, how do you combat these things? You take your time, you move slowly, and you really don't do them. It's tough to say. It's tough for somebody like me to be lazy. We're all lazy to some extent. We all procrastinate. We all have our vices and our sins that we live with. But the worst thing that we can do is sometimes try. It sucks. And then we have the heat and the cold to worry about. The cold is better for me than the heat. The heat, trying to go outside and mow the grass, I'm 10 times more likely to pass out. I mean, every step I take mowing grass is spinning, and thank God there's a safety handle release so I won't mow myself over, But people don't understand what it is to actually live day to day, every second with MSA, where the world is literally spinning as if you're drunk. And if you have been drunk, imagine a time when you actually stood up and you spun even more, right? You start to black out, your eyes close. This is normal for those of us with MSA, right? We might be copacetic sitting down for a second, right? And we look okay, we look normal. And we get up to go get a glass of water to take our 10 pills for medication for the night. And the world spins in crazy circles, right? But yet, you don't hear me complaining about that. There's very often does anybody in my life hear me complaining about spinning, about dizziness, drunkenness. My physical therapist hear it a lot because every time we get up and down, every action we're doing, a physical therapy activity, it makes you spin. I don't know quite how to extrapolate this, but moving weight balls back and forth spins. When you move your eyes with MSA, you get dizzy because you're drunk. Right? I'm staring at the screen right now straight and I'm still spinning, but if I go look at my picture of my brain and my liquor over here, I get lightheaded. So what do? I try not to move my eyes as much. Is there medicine to help with that? Of course there is, but when you take certain medications, it lowers your blood pressure even more. So you have to be careful on how you do these things. There's many of us who have neurogenic orthostatic hypertension who can't take medications that could possibly help us because it will drop our blood pressure even more. And that's it's the unseen things that people don't understand, like drunkenness and MSA, that makes them say things that are not true, not fair, not honest, and it just doesn't make them a good person. I would never say I understand what it is to have cancer because I don't. I never could know what it's like to go through chemotherapy, that type of radiation, losing my hair, right, and dying from the inside. I would never say I understand, right? I would never expect somebody to say they understand what it is to break their back like I have before, or what it's like to have reconstructive jaw surgery like I've had before. Because if they said that and they haven't had those surgeries, they're lying. Maybe not in a bad way, but they're trying to be compassionate, and I understand compassion. But those of us that have MSA, and if you don't, saying things like that doesn't help somebody with MSA, because what we're going to do is either do more of nothing, which is the safer route, or we're going to try to prove you wrong and end up hurting ourselves, right? Or breaking things, destroying things that should not be broken, should not be done. So just a thought about this drunkenness. It's tough. It's 24/7. It doesn't stop. The question is, how much do we want to spend? The more we do, the more we spend. The more we walk crazy, the more we talk crazy. It happens. You go back to my first video and look at these videos now, and you'll just see it speaking itself. And the facial expression is getting worse and worse with every single video. Well, so does the drunkenness in this specific case. It gets worse and worse every single day. Do we have good days? Yes. That just means we don't spin as much. But we're always in a linear decline, and we can't come out of it. So, I appreciate you. The videos are very short about thoughts about MSA, living with it from day to day, everyday life. And I hope to continue these. If you see value in them, please let me know. I appreciate you very much. Thank you.